I'm back. I am back on this beautiful Saturday afternoon. Mother Nature doesn't know if she's hot or cold, but we're going to work through it. I'm back ready to dive into part two of the Oppster archetype, right? And we're going to pick up right where we left off. But before we get back into it, I want to thank everyone that subscribed. Y'all was not playing with that subscribe button. I want to thank everyone that subscribed. I want to thank everyone that thumbed up the videos. Thank you to those who shared the video. Okay? Thank you for showing me love on the Cash App. Thank you for showing me love in the comments. And thank you for sharing your thoughts in the comments. Oh, man. Thank you so much. I'm so appreciative of that. And listen, let me tell y'all, the love always trumps the hate. The love that I'm receiving from my people, my tribe, the 1%, the people that understand what I'm doing here. Man, the love always trumps the hate. And I don't take the commentary that people have left, even if they leave it on other people's channels, whatever. I don't take that personally because I know that they're living a very miserable, sad, pathetic existence in real life. You know, these are the type of people that no one pays them attention. You know, they're no one pays them attention. Their lives is just, oh my God, they're just very sad and miserable. So I don't take the hate and comments. I don't take it personally. Again, you know, it's one thing to disagree with someone, and it's another thing to be disrespectful, but I get it. But listen, again, thank y'all so much. I really appreciate all of the love. Again, the love always trumps the hate. And y'all most definitely understand the assignment with those comments. When I said that I would like for you all to engage and talk to me, listen, I could tell that y'all still have your thinking caps on. I mean, I love to see it. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about right there. I love it. So, I'm going to continue to provoke thought and heighten your awareness, not only of other people, but yourself. Because so many people are operating in this world on autopilot. I mean, so many people are walking around and just operating on autopilot in the world. And what's even more frightening is that they have children. They have children depending on them to help them navigate the world. And the people that the children are depending on, they are on autopilot and they need help navigating the world. Just is what it is. Just is what it is. And it's scary. When you really think about it, it's scary. So the last thing I went over was how trying to appeal to the Oppster archetype's emotions is a wasted effort. It's a vain attempt. Why? Because they are emotionally numb, spiritually bankrupt, empty shells. And I went over how tears are a sign of weakness to them, and how your cries and complaints are fuel, and how basically you're food to them, right? Because they have a gluttonous appetite for your life force. Gluttonous. I told you I'm a wordsmith. Oh man, it's just certain words I have to use to get the point across. These people have a gluttonous appetite for your life force. Think about that. Once they size you up, once they discover your weak spots, they're going to exploit you. They're going to exploit you, drain you, and they're not leaving any crumbs. Understand this. A lot of times we have to understand things for what they are, no matter how devastating it may be and uncomfortable it sounds and appears. We have to accept it for what it is. That's the only way to really deal with it and get over it, overcome it, and steer clear of it. Okay? So nothing more, nothing less. And this is why it's important to learn yourself, to learn your strong points and your weak points. Because once you learn your weaknesses, no one can hold your weaknesses over your head. And if you're the type of person that's very open and delicate, caring, compassionate, and approachable, again, nothing wrong with that. But it's important that we all understand our innate weaknesses and strengths and just our characteristics and our makeup in general. That's very important. That's you claiming your power. That's you claiming and owning yourself. Understanding yourself so that no one could come in and exploit you. Right? So, if you're the type of person that's very open, delicate, caring, empathetic, none of these are bad things. We're supposed to embody these characteristics. Compassionate and approachable. The Oppster archetype, the people that carry and embody that energy, they will say and do whatever it takes to tug at your heartstrings, to trap you in their web. So it's crucial that you learn and study yourself so you can have authority over yourself. This is what being sovereign means. Learn and study yourself, which includes your weaknesses and your strengths, each and every one of us, so that you can have authority over yourself. No one could come in and take your mind. No one can exploit your weaknesses. I don't know if people understand how crucial that is, how critical that is. Okay? And because the Oppster archetype is emotionally numb, they are unable to receive acts of love from other people, including their children. Think about that for a minute. Think about people in your own family. Think about other people that you have observed. Just think about that. Relationships between people and their children. People who embody the Oppster archetype. Right? They're unable to form loving bonds and genuine connections with people, including their children. Because giving them genuine love, and it was genuine love, everybody will draw up their own interpretation of that. For me, genuine love for me is care and being interested and concerned about the well-being and the emotional state and well-being of another person and their happiness. So giving them genuine love, whatever that means to you, is essentially asking them to reciprocate genuine love, which is ultimately going against their nature and purpose. You'll never experience a give and take, reciprocal, balanced relationship with the Oppster archetype. Because again, they are here to create chaos, confusion, disorder, and destruction. And y'all going to hear me repeat that a lot because that's the foundation of the essence. That's the foundational essence of the Oppster archetype. And they're also self-destructive. And as self-destructive as they always seem to land on their feet like a cat. Y'all notice that? Think about that for a minute. I remember as a kid, as a little girl, I remember just, kind of overhearing adults conversing about people that seem to live forever. I mean, the people that were nasty and vile and violent and just have very nasty, sordid ways. And I would hear the elders talking about how it seemed like, all the good people die young, all the good people leave here young. I have to be careful what I say as far as the algorithm. How the good leaves here young and how all the nasty, vile, violent, after archetype, how they seem to just live on forever. Right? So it seems like they always land on their feet like a cat. And that's because they're here to carry out a specific purpose. And again, they prefer to target a certain demographic. Already went over that demographic. And that also includes people who are naive, gullible, and desperate. And that's how I see it. That's how I see it. Remember, I said before, it's not about anyone agreeing with everything that I say. That's childish. That's child's play. We're all adults and we're all looking out at the world from our own subjective lens because we all have unique experiences. We may have similar experiences, but we're not the same. None of us are the same. It's impossible. There's no two people have had the same experience. They may have had a similar experience, but they haven't had the same experience. So again, it's not about anyone agreeing with everything that I say. I only want people around me, and I keep people around me, the people that I do have around me, that keep their thinking caps on. So, going back to the Oppster archetype and their inability to receive genuine love from people, including their children. For them to welcome and receive genuine acts and genuine gestures of love, that means that they have to welcome and receive life. Let me say that again. For them to welcome and receive genuine acts of love means that they have to welcome and receive life. And their nature and purpose is opposite of life, which is death. Which is death. These people study death. What do I mean by that? They study death, meaning they're always contemplating ways to create chaos, confusion, disorder, and destruction, which leads to what? Death. And keep in mind, they consistently conjure up ways to bring death to whoever they target. And when I say that, I mean in all forms: physical, spiritual, mental, emotional, financial, etc. Right? These are extremely low vibrational beings. And you can't expect them to say or do anything that is life affirming. You can't expect them to say or do anything that is life affirming. Again, that's why you feel drained and heavy around them. And you feel relieved and lighter when you're away from them. Real quick. A question was asked in the comments. Again, shout out to the 1%. A question was asked about Op as to why it seems like she's always getting away with her actions. And that was a good question. And I know a lot of people have that same question. Well, let's step back and look at what is. Let's step back and look at what is. Let's look at the timeline. Let's look at all of the facts. So, we already know, targeted someone who has special needs, whose family at one time opened their doors for her, and to this day are trying to sweep all of this under the rug. Okay, that's number one. Same thing with baby father and his family. They too opened their door for her. And I can almost guarantee that his family will still open their doors for her. Despite her disrespectful behavior, we all saw it on that one video when she went in there acting like she had rabies. I know she, disease infested. She act like she caught rabies. Went in there disrespectful. We all witnessed her disrespectful behavior at the baby father home. His mother and sister was there, and the mom's husband or whatever. And they still allowing this woman in their home. Why? Because she has a baby by him. So look at the circumstances. Look at the facts surrounding Op. So again, she targeted someone who's special needs, whose family was neglectful. To this day, still trying to sweep it under the rug, opened their doors to her at one time. Same thing with the baby father and his family. So it only seems like she's getting over, and this is how I see it. Again, no one has to agree with me. This is how I see it. It only seems like she's getting over because she targets people that allow her to get over and get away with violations. And hold up. Another reason it seems like I has been getting away with violations and getting over is because of the vast amount of people who condoned, encouraged, and supported her violations for so long. Think about that. The overwhelming support that Op has gotten, even up to this day. The fact that people are still supporting her, still in love with her, while claiming to be Shell supporters, is astounding. It's astounding and very telling. Again, the vast majority of people that are invested in this, that have a love-hate relationship with her. This is also why it seems like she's been getting away. She's been supported. Again, there's more her supporters, there's more of her supporters than there are Shell supporters. It is what it is. The inconvenient truth. And as far as Danny is concerned, man, Danny's a major simp. Danny a major simp. That's all. That's why Op is with her. We already know that Op can't violate Danny the way she did Shell. We know that. The only thing Op can do to Danny is play mind games with her and pander to Danny simping. That's it. I bet you Op can't stop Danny from talking to her sisters. I bet you Op can't get Danny to make up horrific stories about her family. I know she can't do that. What Op did to Shell, that's way past manipulation. Manipulation was just one of the many ways to keep Shell attached to her. That's it. Danny being addicted to Taylor's Port and being a big old simp, man, that doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme of things. I will not, nor will she ever be able to do Danny like she did Shell. And a couple of y'all, the 1%, y'all said that in the comments on videos. Y'all said that, right? All that, I mean, Danny is Shell 2.0, Danny the new Shell. What? Are y'all kidding me? Danny is the new Shell, please. Man, even I can't believe she was able to get away with that. She can't, man, she can't believe she even got away with that. Please. Y'all giving Op way too much credit. She'll never be able to do Danny like that, like she did Shell. All she gonna do to Danny is play mind games with her and pander to Danny simping. Please. And Danny ain't going for that. You know? And as far as her not getting karma, that's another thing one of the 1%ers brought up. I appreciate y'all for bringing that up. As far as her not getting karma, listen, the subject of karma can get very tricky. It could get very murky because it requires you to have an open mind and be willing to receive new information and new insight. A lot of people have a superficial, limited understanding of karma. And that's okay. That's not to say that people are unintelligent. You know, that's just what it is. A lot of people have a superficial, limited understanding of karma because everyone has different beliefs. We grew up in different cultures. People have, they subscribe to different religions. It is what it is. So I'm going to hold off on that for now. I might get into that. I might even do a video on that. Because I have a lot to share. I have a lot to share with y'all. I might even do a video on that. But I'm going to hold off on the topic of karma. I'm going to hold off on that for now. But I understand your questions as to why y'all feel that Op hasn't gotten her or met her karma. I get it. Okay. But I will say this. The reason why Op comes off cocky and confident and can brag about I'm still being blessed and all that, still gaining followers, I still have people sending me money, and I mean, can we measure that? Is that really true? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Another thing, 1%, y'all stop running with everything. We know that the Oppster archetype. Oh, come on, man. They're liars. I mean, people is liars. People are liars. Okay? We don't know. But even if that's the case, if I'm still being blessed and I'm gaining followers and have people sending me money, if that is the case, think about it. Think about the overwhelming support she has received thus far. That's why. Come on now. It is what it is. A whole lot of people have to take accountability. A whole lot of people have to take accountability for this monster that they created. And this is not to anyone in particular. I'm just saying in general. Look how many people she was able to draw up. Look how many people she was able to garner praise and support from. Emotional support, mental support, financial support. Come on now. Anybody that supported up emotionally, mentally, and financially, they are people who possess the essence of the Oppster archetype. And it's more of them than it is the shell supporters. And it's not just kids that she drew up. Let's be honest. Some of them videos that I watched, please, some of them people, they was full-grown women. They was full-grown women in their 20s, 30s, my age, 40 plus, that supported and still support her. Why y'all think I say it's only 1% true shell supporters? Listen, I and all the other people who embody the Oppster archetype, they came here to carry out their purpose, which is to create chaos, confusion, disorder, and destruction. Simple as that. They're here on a mission to carry out a specific purpose, and it is what it is. And because people who operate on the Oppster frequency came to this realm with a specific purpose, it's your job and my job to recognize the signs, traits, characteristics, and behavior patterns so that you and I and our loved ones don't become prey for them to feast on. Because the world that they create for themselves is very dark and heavy and low vibrational. And see, that's another thing I may get into later as far as the light dark concept, okay? Because neither is inherently dark isn't inherently wrong. I may get into that. I'm gonna hold off on to that. But as it pertains to this video, for the purposes of this video, the world that they create for themselves is very dark, and it's very heavy, and it's very low vibrational. And they operate in the world imbalanced in mind, body, and spirit. And their goal is to pull you into their world. You're not pulling them into your world. I'm going to tell you that right now. You're not pulling them into your world. They're pulling you into their world to suck the life out of you. I mean, they're the parasite and you're the host. That's it. That's what it is. They're the parasite and you're the host. This is why you must be vigilant in protecting yourself. Okay? And because they are cowardly at their core, they are plagued by many fears. And rejection, oh my goodness, rejection is one of, if not the biggest fear that they carry. Case in point. In the interview, when I drew a line between the 1% true shell supporters and the 99% flip-flopsters and Oppsters. Look how all the people responded to me. Mainly women, right? Because this is mainly women in the room, as far as Op and Shell and Danny and this whole debacle. Okay, it's mainly women. Look at how they responded to me. They lashed out at me in the comments. I mean, they was going off. Oh, how could you? Oh, how could you? Like they truly love Shell, please. They lashed out because one, they lack impulse control. People who carry the energy and the essence of the Oppster archetype, they lack impulse control, which makes them destructive and self-destructive. You know? And I'm going to tell you why. Because I didn't come on here, YouTube. I didn't come on YouTube crying, seeking validation from other channel holders. I know what it was about. I didn't come on here crying and weak, seeking validation from other channel holders. On some kumbaya, I mean, let's all gather around for justice for Shell type time. I didn't come on here like that. I came on here like the warrior that I am. Like the lioness and the tigress that I am. I didn't make it to 41 on some weak, docile type time. I had to work on myself. At one time, it was hard for me to say no, and I was getting caught up and pulled here and there. But I made a decision to save myself, to work on myself, so that I wouldn't be pulled in different directions and have someone else controlling my life. I knew that I had to save myself, or else. So because I didn't come on YouTube crying, pandering, seeking validation from other channel holders and other commentators or content watchers or whatever, on some kumbaya, let's hold hands and justice for Shell, me knowing that a lot of people just jumped on the justice for Shell train on some clout chasing because that's the new trend. You know what I mean? They felt rejected. Me drawing a line and not seeking validation was rejection to them. Me pointing out hypocrisy is rejection to them. And here's another thing. The Oppster archetype does not respect boundaries. The Oppster archetype does not respect boundaries because they want easy access to any and everything that they set their sights on. And when you enforce the boundaries that you've established, they feel rejected. Because here's the thing. There's a lot of talk on social media and, empowerment groups and, let's, boundaries. You can set all the boundaries you want. You can establish all the boundaries you want. If you don't know how to enforce the boundaries that you've established, it's pointless. Again, the people who carry and embody the Oppster archetypal energy, they are used to running amok like vermin and setting boundaries without enforcing them is pointless. But when you do set and establish boundaries and enforce them, listen, that is the biggest blow to their ego. That's a tremendous blow to their ego. You setting and enforcing boundaries. And it's difficult for them to move on past their feelings of rejection because they carry a false sense of self and entitlement. They have a hard time letting go because they feel entitled to you. Think about that for a minute. These people carry, the people that embody the essence of the Oppster archetypal energy, they carry a false sense of self and entitlement. And they have a hard time letting go because they feel entitled to you. And that's because of their parasitic, vampiric nature. You can flat out tell them, man, lose my number. Lose my number, clown. They still gonna call you. You can tell them that they're not wanted in your space, in real life and online. And they'll still show up. Y'all see it every day. And I know y'all have experienced this. Again, they're like pests. I said that before. They're like gnats. They don't even care how they look. That's how wild this is. They don't even care that they're pestering you and buzzing around like gnats. Man, all I have to do is feel like I'm not wanted, like I'm unwanted around somebody in their space. You ain't, look, all I have to do is experience that feeling one time. All you have to do is say or do something that tells me that I'm not wanted in your space. You ain't never got to worry about me again. I think highly of myself. Yeah. I think highly of myself. You'll never catch me buzzing around somebody that, in no uncertain terms, let me know that I'm not wanted around. Man, you ain't never, listen, please. That's peon type time. Somebody telling you directly, indirectly, however, no uncertain terms, you're not wanted in my space, online or offline, and they still show up. Again, like pests. You can tell them, move around. Man, move around. Scram. Beat it. Out of here. And they'll still show up. What does that tell you? Parasites and leeches. Parasites and leeches. This is why restraining orders are a thing. Even though, we've heard of cases and stories where, women have had to, it's usually women having to file restraining orders against men. I'm sure there's men that have had to file restraining orders against women because, oh my God. Listen, this is why restraining orders are a thing. This is why the creators of all these social media apps had to install the block and report feature. Because the Oppster archetype can't take no for an answer. They don't know how to let go because of their parasitic and vampiric nature. And they lack impulse control. Leeches, vampires, and parasites. Simple as that. Think of stories that you've come across, right? You log in a YouTube or Facebook or whatever social media app you're on. And these news clips or whatever, they come up on your timeline, on your news feed, involving someone who has been rejected by another person. It's usually within the context of a romantic relationship, right? It seems like it's usually within that context. But there's plenty of examples of people flying off the handle and even unaliving someone because another person rejected them in some way. Y'all see it every day. I do. Y'all see it every day. And you know what? Since it's primarily women in the room, think of women's behaviors and reactions that followed after you had to cut them off, you had to sever ties with them. Think of the behaviors and reactions that followed from women who felt rejected by you. Think about that for a few seconds. Just you setting boundaries, that translates to rejection to them because they have a sense of entitlement to you. Listen, a person with self-worth and self-respect who has a whole, healthy, balanced mind, who is also emotionally intelligent, they don't get offended by you setting boundaries because they set boundaries. There's certain things you have to look for. Pay attention. Keep your thinking caps on. Keep your eyes and your ears open. It's the subtle things. I mean, it's the sudden, the very subtle things that you can miss if you're not paying attention, if you don't have your thinking caps on. They don't get offended by you setting boundaries because they set boundaries. But for the Oppster archetype, you setting boundaries is a devastating blow to their ego. And what they do, y'all, think about it. They start a smear campaign. Doxing. They paint narratives. They paint narratives as a way to distort reality and plant seeds. They make desperate attempts to get other people to attack you. They'll say things to try and diminish you. Remember I said in part 1, to knock you down a peg. The underlying subconscious desire to knock you down a peg, aka diminish you. And some of these people that carry the essence and energy of the Oppster archetype, they even become disturbingly obsessed with you. Obsessed. Man, they're experts. They are experts at projecting their fraudulent, vile, bottom-dwelling ways onto you. And remember I said that they don't typically display outward aggression. And the more evolved Oppster archetype, they know how to maintain a more controlled demeanor, right? They know how to maintain a more controlled demeanor. So you have to remain vigilant, okay? The Oppster archetypes have a low to non-existent level of self-awareness. Man, they can't see themselves. They can't see how their behavior impacts other people and themselves. That's what makes them destructive and self-destructive. Remember, I defined the Oppster archetype as a perpetual enemy to other people and themselves. This is why they're reckless. This is why they're reckless with their mouths, impulsive, say anything, and oops, regret it later because they played themselves. They showed their hand. This is why they're reckless with their mouths, reckless with their bodies. They mishandle people. They don't think about the repercussions that follow from their reckless behavior. Just reckless in life. Just reckless in life. And they also lack a healthy level of self-awareness because they never do any self-reflection. They never do any self-reflection. And if they do any self-reflection, it's only to perfect their antics. If they do any self-reflection, it's only to perfect their antics, to conjure up ways to create more chaos, confusion, disorder, and destruction. And again, y'all are going to hear me repeat that because that is their bottom line, right? Prime example of the Oppster archetype having a low to non-existent level of self-awareness. I know I'm not the only person that read several comments from people saying how much they miss Shell. Did y'all read them comments from people on here talking about how much they miss Shell? And some of them even had the audacity to put a sad face emoji next to the comment that they left. I know y'all read it. And I'm like, what? So basically, they miss Shell. They're missing seeing Shell violated. All the while calling themselves Shell supporters. And I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. Because they're sadistic. And they have been running amok, unchecked, for so long in real life and social media. And to a certain extent, how people conduct themselves online is a reflection of how they conduct themselves in real life. You know? I mean, now, of course, you know, people would get on here and talk heavy and fly and tough. No profile picture, just talking crazy. You know what I mean? Internet gangsters wouldn't bust a grape in a fruit fight. In real life, they peeking out the blinds, scared to death. You know what I mean? But genuinely speaking, people's online behavior will give you an idea of the type of person that they are in real life. So in part 1, I mentioned how the Oppster archetype doesn't have a moral compass. Because they don't have a moral compass, they are sadists. They are sadists. So as a result, it's easy for them to remove responsibility from themselves after harming someone. Or it's easy for them to co-sign the harm that has been inflicted on someone. It's nothing for them to minimize the severity of someone's injuries and pain. It's nothing for them. They just shrug it off. I mean, they just shrug it off. It's very easy for the Oppster archetypes to dehumanize other people. Dehumanize. Man, they want you docile and timid. so they can violate you with impunity. Think about that. Man, they want you docile and timid so they can violate you with impunity. And they're also hypocritical. Y'all know it. All y'all got to do is pay attention. The standards and expectations that they set for you, they can't even meet themselves. Pay attention. Pay attention. I was told, listen, I was told to allow people on YouTube, commentators, to disrespect me in my comment section because this is social media. The same person that suggested that I allow commentators to disrespect me because this is just YouTube, this is social media, went on a deleting spree because the commentators didn't agree with the commentary this person did. Hypocritical. This is an Oppster. This is a person that embodies the essence of the Oppster archetypal energy. Setting standards and expectations for you that they can't even meet themselves. Extremely biased and extremely hypocritical. And another thing, y'all, another thing. When they see you in your growth process, when they see that you're devoted to your growth and creating a lighter, higher quality, higher vibrational, harmonious atmosphere for yourself, that's when you'll be tested the most. Pay attention. Because the Oppster archetype gets triggered by you rising and soaring. Be vigilant, man, for real. Be vigilant. Be vigilant. That's when you'll be tested the most, when you're rising and soaring. And keep in mind, again, keep in mind that the traits and behaviors of the Oppster archetype sits on a spectrum, right? So on one end, they're here to be a nuisance. You know, pests, gnats, like I said earlier. Just want to be in your way. Just, you know what I mean? It's like, get away. You got to shoo them like scram. You know what I mean? On that end of the spectrum. And then you have the other end of the spectrum where they're here to unalive you. Keep that in mind. For real. So listen. I have a whole lot more to share with y'all. A whole lot more. And I love engaging with y'all because y'all talk to me. Y'all engage back and y'all be having y'all thinking caps on. So I have a whole lot more to share. And if you have anything to add as far as traits and behavioral patterns of the Oppster archetype, let us know in the comments. Or if you want to share your experiences with an Oppster archetype, let us know. You feel like it's something that I missed? Go ahead. Let us know in the comments. 1%? This my tribe. Y'all my tribe. I mean, let us know. We learning together. And again, much love and gratitude to the 1%. Thank you to everyone that subscribed. Thank you for the thumbs up on all the videos. Thank you for supporting the Cash App. And thank you all for your engagement. I love and I appreciate each and every one of you. Peace.